Would you like to learn how I was able to achieve a $1 million verdict in a foot injury case where the defense had surveillance video of my client walking on her feet? Come join me as I share with you this great information. It's phenomenal. Hi, I'm Gerry Oginski. I'm a New York medical malpractice and personal injury trial attorney. Let me share with you what happened in this case. So the defense had actually hired a private investigator to take surveillance video of my client, surreptitiously try and catch her on video to catch her doing something she claimed she couldn't do. So what did they do? Over the course of 2 days, this private investigator followed her in a van and tried to get her doing something she claimed she couldn't do. So what did they get on video? They got her going from her home, walking to her car, from her car driving to work, from her parking lot at work walking into her job, and then at the end of the day reversing that. And they used that to show to the jury that, look, Mr. Oginski's client can walk. She doesn't have a limp, she doesn't have a problem, you shouldn't award her anything. Now I will tell you something, that move backfired on them. Would you like to learn why? Because my client never claimed that she couldn't walk. My client never claimed that she had a permanent limp. But let me share with you why the jury rejected the defense's claim and why they awarded my client more than $1 million. They did that because of what they couldn't see in the surveillance video. What the defense was unable to show is they were not able to show the pain that my client was in once she walked into her home, took off her shoes, and sat down. They were not able to show the massive swelling that occurred as a result of being on her feet all day. They were not able to show the pain my client was in at work by going up and down the steps. Nor were they able to show the medication that she was taking, not just over the counter, but also prescription pain medication to try and reduce and minimize the pain that she experienced on a daily basis. Let me explain one more thing why the jury awarded more than $1 million to my client in this case. I was able to show that the defense expert that they brought in to testify lied. And I was able to show it, and the jury clearly saw it. I asked the doctor, and I'll tell you very briefly, I asked the doctor what records he brought with him to court, and he said none. I said, doctor, you know that anything you bring into court, I'm able to look at, right? Yes. Did you bring with you your notes? No, I didn't. And you know that if you brought your notes today in court, I'd be able to look at them, right? Yes. Doctor, where are those notes today? Oh, they're sitting in my office, right on my desk. I looked at them last night. Excellent. Doctor, at the break, I'm going to have you call your office and have your staff fax over the cover letter that the defense attorney sent to you. Oh, no, those records are not on my desk. Really? Where are they? Oh, they're in my car. Where's your car? In the parking lot, in the parking garage by my office. Excellent. Who's got the keys? Oh, my office staff. Terrific. We'll have the office staff go to your car during the break, get the records, get the letter, fax it. Oh, no, it's not there. Where is it? So what happened was the doctor got caught in a lie, not once, not twice, but 3 times, and it was obvious to everybody in the courtroom that this doctor had lied. So why do I share this great information with you? I share it with you just to give you an insight and an understanding to what goes on in the trial process in a medical malpractice case here in the state of New York. You know, I recognize you probably have questions of your own about your own particular matter. Well, if your matter happened here in New York and you do have legal questions, what I encourage you to do is pick up the phone and call me. I can answer your legal questions. I do this every single day and I welcome your call. You can reach me at 516-487-8207 or by email at Gerry, Gerry, at oginski-law.com. Well, that's it for today's quick video. I'm Gerry Oginski. Thanks so much for watching.